that volunteered in our garden this year, which I think were due to the fact that I use the quail poop as compost onto the garden, were millet and buckwheat. Buckwheat came up. I actually thought it was a weed. It has these gorgeous white flowers, and then the flowers just turn into these seeds. You can get, again, just use a normal food processor to grind this into a flour. I just waited for the seeds to turn into this beautiful like golden bloom color, and then you can stick it in a blender, stick it in a food processor. If you have a the Cuisinart mix stander, they actually have an attachment, and I think with like Prime Day sales or any store sales like Williams Sonoma, any of those things, or you know, put it on a wish list for Christmas maybe, they actually have what's called a flour grinder attachment, and it goes onto the front part. And so I was actually going to ask for that for Christmas from my mom, because she's really good at helping out with appliances. So all that I'm doing is taking these seeds. I'm going to save some to plant actually next year, so that I can kind of perpetuate this and start to offset some of my feed costs, because this is good for the chickens and the things. So that's a few of the things that we're doing to offset feed. We're growing these that sort of volunteered themselves in the yard, I think, again, because we're just using the compost on the garden and it just came out of the feed itself from their poop. So this again is millet and buckwheat. And then the other thing that we're doing is we have started to in our basement, we just had the contractor finish up. We created the gecko room, and in the gecko room, we're going to move the geckos downstairs and have our guest room back, thank God. And in there, we are also going to start growing mealworms, and we're going to grow black soldier fly larvae, and that will help to offset some of our feed costs. All of the creatures that we raise, quail, geckos, and chickens, all eat all of those things. So we are just really excited. I mean, the geckos don't eat the greens, but they eat the soldier fly larvae, and so do the chickens and the quail, and they eat the mealworms. And the soldier fly larvae have a much shorter lifespan. They actually grow, I think, in like a couple days, and they're really good at decomposition. So if you're actually processing your quail or your chickens, you can feed the excess, the feathers, the bones, extra parts like the feet, the head, anything that you're not going to be eating, you can feed that to your soldier fly larvae, and they will break it down for you, and then they use that to grow. And so it's like a whole full life cycle of things. They can process, I think, in a 30 days like a whole chicken. So just imagine what they can do with the parts if you're processing quail. So this is how we can help like break away from the system and stop paying these big box stores, stop paying these other guys things, and start being more self-sufficient. And hopefully that's what I'm here to help teach you and help learn.